while we talk.
Well, maybe wait till we've zoomed in.
We're just going to see. Hey, we are live. Hello, everybody.
We are live and running a little frazzled right now. We had there was a car accident on the way here, so we got in major delayed traffic because it's also rush hour. So we are glad we were able to start at 5:30, but we're just now opening our bottle of wine.
It's true.
So I'm Jenny.
I'm Paul.
And we're with the Go Box Art Crate monthly art subscription box where we teach you acrylic painting. That's noisy. And but we also offer non-subscription art kits, and we'll be offering a lot more of those through the holidays. I've been working on them. I got a film setup in my home office, which is perfect because I spend a lot of time in there, and I'm able to film some videos and get some new stuff up for you guys. The stuff I've been promising for a long time. I'm finally able to sit down and do it.
Promised.
So I hope you guys are having a great Friday. We are going to paint King of the Jungle tonight. Let's go ahead and zoom in, Paul.
Now, if I could just get anybody, we had some issues with the audio last time. I think I've got it corrected.
I see Sid said hello. Hello, Sid.
Hi, Sid.
Yeah, so just let us know if you can't hear us. Or how about let us know if you can hear us.
Or can't. Either way, just let us know what's going on.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and proceed on.
Proceed.
So here we've got the Glamour King of the Jungle. I gave him the most glamorous mane, and you can do that, or you can keep it simpler. You can keep it more in this baseline color. That's the fun thing about having all these colors. You can choose which ones you use and which ones you don't use. You can do this paint if you have an extra canvas. Try doing it with more natural colors. You can mix these two and a little bit of red and get some brown, kind of like what I've got in here. So that's an idea. I've done this painting, I think 3 times now. This was one of the ones I did, so you can see they're very different. To me, one looks very feminine, one looks more masculine, but you know, we know the ones with the manes are the male lions. Remember I was asking you, Paul, if they have the same face? What did we ever determine? If male lions and female lions have the same face? Yes or no?
Pretty much the same. So,
yeah, we can hear.
Is it too hot? You mean like it's clipping?
Yeah, what do you mean by too hot? Hot mic? Too loud, voices are tinny. Okay, Paul has the adjuster. He can do some adjusting. Right? You know what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, so here we'll work on that. We just have a new microphone set up, right?
It's an old microphone.
A new old microphone?
But it's a different way it's set up.
It's clipping, she said.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's try this real quick.
I'll just sit here and
I see.
Try my wine.
Talk some more, Jenny.
Okay. Yeah, so King of the Jungle. And then next week, same day, same time, same place, Paul teaches The Lion Sleeps Tonight, which is I might be projecting too loud too. I tend to do that.
Jenny, yeah, okay. I turned the sensitivity. We're using a little bit more sensitive of a microphone, and I could see that it was clipping. And was testing.
But I also, I was in theater all through high school.
Yeah.
And so I tend to project theater, choir, all that. So.
Jenny's test 1, 2, 3 ends up being
Jenny! Okay, so we've got The Lion Sleeps Tonight next week, and we've got one of Paul's amazing sunsets with the purple clouds, and right there in the tree is our lion taking a snooze. We've got some acacia tree, or no, those are baobab trees, and this is the acacia tree.
Yep.
So let's get that out of the way.
Now, I can honestly say that the baobabs might be the easiest trees we ever paint.
Oh, cool. We like that.
Yeah.
Easy trees. Okay, so let's go ahead and have a look at our colors this month. Let me get this out of the shadow. We've got, of course, black and white. They seem to make an appearance just about every month. Turquoise, bright red, and deep yellow, which is basically school bus yellow. And all of these together work well to make our cute lion. And you'll have it with your kit. You get the 4-brush set when you subscribe. Your very first box includes those, as most of you know. Let's pick up our biggest brush to start. Go ahead and dunk it in your water cup. Wake that brush up. Dry it off.
Yay, sound is perfect.
Good. Now, when we paint the black on the, we're going to coat the whole canvas in black, but I want you to do just a thin, spotty coat because so much of this gets covered up. We need it to sort of tint, provide a background tint for this, but you can have little specks of white standing out. I know that might drive you crazy, but this is going to allow it to dry fast, and we're not going to have to use a ton of paint. It's like a rough draft. It's our rough draft painting. I've been painting on smooth surfaces for several days, designing some Halloween projects. So painting on a canvas right now with the texture is like, the paint is not going in.
We got a new light too.
Yeah. Wait, so did you just buy that one?
Yeah, I got it last week.
Huh, that's nice. We got shelves hung in the background. You maybe saw that.
We're working on it.
Yeah, slowly but surely coming together. Paul ended up expanding to another warehouse building across the parking lot for his business. And so it's been a little wild. It seems like our life is always about like
I feel like all I've done
signing
for the
leases and moving.
I feel like all I've done for the last like 4 years is move.
We're not moving out of this space.
No, we're here.
He got an additional space.
Yeah.
And Paul's little side business is Prima Industries. And they manufacture sprayer systems with their big seller being a dog wash system.
Yeah. So if you guys know any dog groomers who are looking for the top of the line Supremo
made in the USA
bathing system that doesn't waste shampoo and water, in fact is designed to conserve both, just let me know.
This company's been around since the 1940s, and it's been in one family, and I actually went to high school with the grandson, so we were actually friends. We were in choir and musicals together.
Just a weird small world.
Weird small world, and yeah, so we always laugh at the dog groomer names because they come up with the most clever names. So what was the newest one? You posted it on Facebook. I laughed so hard. It was something liquors.
Fine wines and liquors.
Yeah, so wine was spelled like a dog wine, like how dogs wine.
W-H-I-N-E.
And liquors was obviously L-I-C-K-E-R. That was clever. You've had some other ones.
Bark Avenue. I've had a couple different Bark Avenues.
Dude, there was one that was so funny that we laughed so hard. I don't remember what it was. But fine wines and liquors is...
Yeah, there's been... That's up there. There's been some really good ones. Sometimes I post them on my Facebook page, and it's fun. It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
I guess there was a big like national grooming convention this weekend, and I had no idea because I'm brand new in the industry, and nobody reached out and was like, "Hey,
you want a booth?"
But I get a lot of people this week going, "Hey, are you running any show special pricing?"
Or, "Hey, can I bring my machine to your show booth for a repair?"
Yeah, yeah. If I were in Hershey, Pennsylvania right now, I wouldn't have my tools to repair it, so...
Okay, so we'll just pay attention to the...
Yeah, let's get back to the...
Well, no, we'll pay... What I was going to say is we'll pay attention to the big shows that are, like, in tropical places.
Yeah, like... You want to do one, like, in, like...
Wisconsin? No, wait, we're waiting for the Hawaii one.
Orlando?
How about one in Tahiti? Okay, so you can see my canvas is speckly. There's lots of white areas, and that's totally fine. I want that. In fact, it's drying already, and the way I can tell that is it's going from shiny to more matte. And we don't need it to be 100% dry because this first stuff that we do is totally fine to mix with the black. As you go along, well, actually, at the end of the painting, you can paint the sides black. You just wrap this around the sides, and they look really good that way. And I know Michaels sells, what do they call them? Open back frames. And they should have some to fit an 11 by 14 canvas. They look so good framed. I just found a box of, we had 3 frames that were open back for this size canvas at home. And I popped them on some of my paintings just out of curiosity.
Are they white?
Dang, that turned out so good. It like turns it into a gallery piece.
Because we had some
yes,
white
they were
ones,
white.
yeah.
They weren't available in black, which is why we never ordered them.
That's right.
Actually, this bottle of Appaloosa is really good. The one at home that we opened the other night, not so much.
Not so good.
Maybe it was corked.
Could be.
So while this is drying a bit, I'm going to show you a Halloween project that we are in the middle of posting videos for. Well, Paul's editing them. He's got one done and there's 3. So these are cute. These are not part of the subscription box. These are going to be like if you want to do an extra project. So look at that one. It's got glitter all over it. Isn't that fun? These are the same ornaments that we used for August. If you guys did the August project, so you get 3. They're 4-inch round. You can paint both sides. You can do... I had lots of ideas. I did some with jack-o'-lanterns, but these were the 3 that made the cut.
I tried to get her to do Inky, Blinky, and Winky.
Oh, we definitely
well.
should do that. I'll do that.
But
definitely.
done in this style.
At home, at least.
And then Pac-Man as the moon.
Nice to see you, Kim and Mark. We're giving Mark an idea. All right, I'm going to move these out of the way, but keep in mind, they're very easy to do. Each video is about, I think one's about 40 minutes long, and the other 2 are like an hour each. Very fulfilling and fun.
Sweet. I've got mine underpainted.
Okay, yeah, that's what this is. It's underpainting. Let's go ahead, and in your box, you will have your instructions. You can follow along with the drawing of this, but I'm going to lay it out for you right now.
Ghost gnomes.
Ghost gnomes! I got canvases out, 8x10s to do Halloween gnomes. I know I still have the other ones to do, but we will do them just when the seasons come up. But Halloween gnomes and Christmas gnomes, that's what I'm focused on right now.
Are those a set or are they separate?
They're
rounds.
a set.
They're a set,
Yeah.
but the videos are separate.
Yeah, the videos are separate. Like, normally, when we do live streams, I'd do all 3 in one video, and it'd be about, 2 hours. So these are going to be in separate videos that are all part of the same playlist, so very easy to get to.
Yep.
I gulped that way too fast.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, let's pick up our number 8 brush. That's your second brush in your pack, second largest, I should say. Go ahead and dip it in the water, dry it off. So you're starting off with just a damp, dry brush. And we're going to mix yellow and white. This is going to give you kind of a nice beigey color.
Oh, 15 new bottles of wine. That reminds us. We've got like 12 to pick up.
15 new bottles. So what I did at home is years ago, our wine rep, when we had the live studio, they had a wine called Lido Bay. Is that the winery? Lido Bay?
Yeah.
And what was the name of the Mutiny or something like that? I can't remember.
They had a couple. They had
Pirate themed.
Mutiny, and then they had Thick Like Thieves or something like that.
So the bottles were really cool, very pirate looking. And so I saved the bottle and I put a taper candle in the top and I let it melt so it was dripping down the wine bottle. And now the candle's down short and I strung this one over it. And I did post that on our Facebook group page, Go Box Art Crate, with the wine bottle. It looks so cool.
Yeah, doesn't it have a skull on it?
Yeah, it does. Okay, so we are going to start with the lion now. And here, let's have a look at my picture. You can see we do this big circle, and it's up kind of in the upper part of the canvas. We want to just make sure you've got room on the sides for the ears. That shouldn't be a problem. Let's drop down find the middle up here, and drop down. Oh, let me look at my original here. It's probably about 4 inches. Just eyeball it. Or if you want to get a ruler and do it that way, right about there.
Nobody got time for that.
Nobody got time for that. And we're just going to sketch a big arch to start. And what I try to do to make it center, you can see this isn't a perfect circle. It's okay. It doesn't have to be. I try to make sure I've got about equal space between here and here before I continue on. So if, let's say you came up short on one side, just draw it bigger. It gets covered up.
No, I've got mine as mixing with the background still.
Yeah. So it's going to mix with your background paint. And I feel like, this is kind of low, but that's all right. I think I overdid the 4 inches. It's probably more like 5 inches. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to divide this in half, vertically and horizontally. So this is going to help us line some things up later. You can just do a dotted line. Nothing super harsh, but it does all get covered up. The ears are just, think of this as a pie. Pizza pie. We've got like a little half circle here, a little half circle here. Just sketch them on out. Look at your page if you need to. So at first it's got a bear look or Mickey Mouse look.
Wasn't Lido Bay also the one that did that hazelnut port that was so good?
They might have. So I can see right now I've got a bigger gap here than here. So I'm not actually going to worry about that too much. I could just expand the forehead out. He's looking to be a big old lion. Expand this forehead out, which means I'll expand this ear out. But I don't think, once I get the mane on there, I don't think it's going to be super noticeable.
Kind of Winnie the Pooh stage right now.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh.
There is a new Winnie the Pooh movie coming out, by the way.
That's right. It's a horror movie.
It's a horror movie. This is what happens when copyrights expire.
Yeah, so the 100 years has passed, and now Winnie the Pooh is up for grabs, so I could do a Winnie the Pooh paint box sometime if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, this company made a horror movie. And
The story is that Pooh and Piglet went feral. After
Christopher Robin grew up and moved away, and it's called Blood and Honey, I think. Something like that.
And it's really bad looking.
I highly recommend you watch the trailer.
It is.
Okay.
It is worth the chuckle.
So let's do the nose. Now, they do have a nice big nose, and they've got this muzzle that is kind of narrow where the eyes are and then goes really wide. And I did kind of have to just keep sketching mine wider and wider. But look at that nose. It's just an upside down triangle, and I centered it right down here. And I do sort of a rounded triangle. You can always make it bigger. Oh, it's so cute right now. This could be like to become like a little chibi.
Where do we hear about
kawaii.
such things? We spend a lot of time on social media.
I think that just came from YouTube. It was one of the YouTube ads that popped up.
No, I saw it on.
Oh yeah, you sent it to me. It's Paul.
I saw it on Twitter. It was IGN on Twitter, which is a video game and movie company, and they had shared about it.
Okay.
And,
Okay, so I'm going to cut you off. Let's cut
That's fine.
down here a little short line about maybe an inch. And then we're going to round up. Now I want this line to come up right about, it's going to meet right about here. And then I want you to do the reverse over here and just try to make them even. Always keep in mind, this will help with your confidence. Keep in mind everything gets covered up so you can re-sketch things very, very easily. And now the chin is literally, it's like we're drawing like a little low bowl shape, like a little rice bowl shape down here, a little pasta bowl.
You know, it'd be kind of a fun.
Already looking like a lion. What would be fun?
Non-part of the subscription, just a fun project kit would be
Let's
like
wash our brush, guys.
like a Wizard of Oz one.
That would be fun, like the ruby pumps. I would love that.
I saw social media post yesterday that was like tiny Wizard of Oz tattoo ideas.
Oh my gosh.
It was actually really kind of cool because
Paul's addicted to Twitter. I made an account.
You mean not Twitter, TikTok?
TikTok, sorry. I made an
Twitter
account
too.
for a jewelry shop that my daughter and I started together as her summer work project. I highly recommend you check it out. We've got the cutest stuff. It is the earrings I'm wearing right now, which you'll see are from our site. It's called, it's juniperawl.com. So I highly recommend you check that out. You just got to plug that real quick. We did a lot of fun Halloween earrings, and everything is inexpensive, like $10 to $15. So highly recommend you check that out. What was my point?
So she kept sending me videos
Yes.
from TikTok videos that
I
were
created
funny,
a TikTok
funny
page for
things.
it.
And I was like, well, this is easier if I just have my own account to look at the videos and stuff. And so then she's like, there's lots of golf videos and stuff, I bet. And so I signed up, and it's highly addictive, but I like it because it's very, it's funny, and it's a nice way to just block out
Politics.
everything. Yeah, politics, but everything else too.
Okay, so let's take our smallest brush. I went ahead and I wet it down, dried it off, dip it in your paint color, and let's talk about these eyes. So we don't want to make them too close together, okay, because if you get them too close together, then this ends up being a little bit too narrow. And so let's go ahead, let's find this middle line. I'm going to pop over about an inch and a half, maybe make a dot, and then same over here, make a dot. So we want like at least about 2.5 to 3 inches right here and here. Look at those tiny little eyes. Now they have very exotic eyes, and the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to sketch this up like this, and rather than going right down to this line, it's going to end up here. And then with my left side, I try to match it up. It's never going to be exact. I have such a hard time painting on the left side, and I think it's just because I'm right-handed. It's got to be that. And you could even do a little flick here, like you're doing winged eyeliner, just to kind of help you visualize those lion eyes. And then
Isn't
what do
there
I
a song
do?
called Lion Eyes?
Maybe. I'm going to bring this down just a little bit below that center line, like maybe 1/4 of an inch.
Joanna says that she saw that TikTok. They were so cool. I thought they were really cool little
Look at
tattoos.
it. So I like to start on the outer corner, just like right before this flicks out, if you did that, and round back down, and then I'm just going to meet this. Keeping in mind, you can make the eyes bigger, you can make them smaller, like they're not locked in. So yeah, right before this flicks out into the little wing, round this out.
You know, I saw
Come
something
down.
really interesting the other day. I think it was on TikTok. You know the MGM lion? Is it MGM?
Yeah.
So they recorded him, but then they overlaid a tiger's roar over the top because a tiger's roar is more vicious sounding.
Oh, how funny.
So it's layered in, but yeah. So it was it's part lion, part tiger.
Okay, so what we're going to do next, we've got everything drawn in except one thing. We're going to do this line. So the inner corners of the eyes come down and they connect to the outer part of this muzzle. And you really want this exaggerated isosceles triangle. I think that's what it is, the tall, skinny one.
I don't remember my triangles well enough to go
just
out on a limb like that.
Come down on either side, and I just I'm looking from here to here, and here to here, and here to here as I sketch. Just dot it in. And then you'll know if you need to make this part wider, like this whole muzzle part wider, or maybe even a little more narrow.
Put them up, put them up.
If it looks like a lion, you've done it. You're good. You are golden. You can continue on. If it doesn't look like a lion, just keep your fingers crossed. Say a little prayer. Turn it into a dog. All right, so I'm going to now just draw a smaller version of each ear inside each ear. That will be the inner ear. And you can wash your brush.
Do you remember like when we were kids and like once a year, sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas, Wizard of Oz would be on TV, and it was like always like a big deal. And then like maybe a couple
I'd
weeks
fall
later,
asleep.
Star Wars would be on.
I always felt like The Wizard of Oz was so long, and it's probably only 2 hours. Okay, so now we're going to fill in the whole face,
How long it is.
but let's look at this picture. So you see I left black along these crucial areas that I don't want to lose. I left the nose black, and then there's an area, I don't know why I left that black. Why did I leave? There was some reason. I think it's just because it gets pure white over the top.
I kind of think all creatures' faces are
Can make
asymmetrical.
more color.
Answering a question from Joanna. I kind of think that there's little, I don't know if I want to call it imperfections, but asymmetry is common.
I'll stir a little more yellow in there. So I'm using my largest brush, and I'm just doing a thin coat of paint, just like we did in the background. There's no need to do a giant, thick, globby coat of paint because we are going to come back and
Well, and the texture.
clean it up.
The texture.
My guy really has a round face.
Mine kind of looks like Snagglepuss.
Wow, that's taking us back. That's the guy we were trying to think of his name the other night.
I even painted him even.
He's a panther, right? Doesn't he kind of look like...
Yeah.
So Snagglepuss is from Yogi Bear. For those of you who are old school and grew up in the 80s.
Hey, yo, boo-boo. Come back here with that picnic basket.
Oh my gosh, like Paul really looked into being a voice actor. Like he seriously looked into it. He has a friend who is one.
You know, that friend actually just started a new doing like portfolio recordings for people who want to get into the industry. They started a business doing that.
There you go, Paul.
And like literally this week.
Well, there you go. It's a sign. And look, we're mentioning it right now. It's a sign.
It's a sign.
So I am leaving just a skinny outline around the eyes just so that I know where later on that I'm going to put black eyeliner there anyway. It's okay. Come real close to the eyes. It's probably 100% unnecessary.
If we ever do a Lord of the Rings, I'll give you guys my Gollum.
Yeah. There's some of the voices he uses that my daughter and I are just like, shut up.
Just
please,
don't.
Just don't do that again.
Do you remember though when we went and saw Lord of the Rings and I did that as we were exiting the movie theater and it was like a totally packed theater and people were like, what the heck?
I do remember that. That's so funny. Okay, so yeah, just coming along here. Everything's messy right now. There's no need for neatness. In fact, you'll drive yourself crazy if you try to be neat here. All we really need to do is just make sure we know where the cheek ends and the muzzle starts. So you just need the tiniest little marker for yourself. And now I'm going to start on this area. Our son, I think we've mentioned here that he is on the autism spectrum, and one of the things that comes along with that is a super hyper intensive narrow focus. And he went through a period of time where he was really into the spruce goose, which is the big wooden airplane that was
largest wooden plane ever made.
Built by Howard Hughes, and it's actually out here in Oregon at a Air museum that's 20 minutes from where we live.
Actually, it's like 10 minutes from here.
Oh yeah, 10 minutes from here. So we would take him there a lot, and then I had to scour the internet back in, this would have been like 2003, to find anything on the spruce goose, and I came across this Yogi Bear and the spruce goose VHS tape on eBay.
Yeah, what was it called? Like Yogi Bear and the
Spruce Goose
and the magical flight of the spruce
I don't know
goose
if
or
it's
something like
magical
that. Because the spruce goose itself only flew like it was like literally only like a quarter of a mile ever.
Yeah, it was just such a Howard Hughes thing.
Yeah, it's like I did it.
I'm leaving a little thin line here for the mouth. But anyways, Yogi Bear, that was like my most memorable, most loved thing because Hayden was so in love with that movie and we still have it. Maybe it's a collector item now. I'm going to switch to my second largest brush because I feel a little more comfortable using that around the ears.
I think we should see if we can I bet you it's on YouTube or something now.
We should see if someone can transfer it to DVD for us. I don't know if it's on YouTube.
It was such a rare, it was like a made for TV movie or something from like the 60s.
I bought him a lot of stuff off eBay because, and even now, shopping for him, his 22nd birthday is coming up on September 23rd, and
next week.
Finding stuff for him is
speaking of
so
which,
hard.
Normally we do our videos on Fridays. Next week we are going to be doing it on Thursday because
we
Friday
are celebrating Hayden's 22nd birthday.
Yeah. So I don't know what we're doing.
He is a good boy. He is the nicest, most kind. I know that means the same thing, but let me reiterate it. He's a super nice boy.
I think niceness and kindness are kind of two different things. You can be nice without being kind.
He will be friend if you treat him good and you are nice to him. He will be friends with anyone. Okay, there we go. Actually, I see a spot now that I'm looking on the monitor. I want to come down here. Our daughter, on the other hand.
That's not nice.
Just kidding. She just started high school.
Well, kind of. She's a junior.
She's a junior, but she's been doing online school for 2.5 years, and that's fun.
Did I put truth serum in your drink tonight, Jenny?
I think
you were just spilling the whole.
I
Oh.
am talkative.
Oh, Joanna says it's on Amazon for DVD. On DVD for $12.99.
Okay, we gotta buy that. That's a good
Yeah.
birthday present.
Oh, we should. Absolutely.
Thank you. We'll give you credit.
Yeah, we'll be competing against.
Oh, no.
We'll be competing against Apple TV for Thursday night football, I guess.
Well, you'll have to flip back and forth, I guess, during
Yeah.
commercial breaks.
I kind of think our demographics a little different typically,
A little different.
and Mark's not painting, so
So one of the things you can do here, if you have this real kind of like bubble sort of thing, one thing, lions don't have that. This is going to come down and just smooth it into the face here. I think that is mentioned on a step earlier in the instructions. Mine, it looks like a mommy lion right now. So cute. Now we're gonna give that big old mane.
mine looks like the one I saw up on Mount Hood.
Actually, yours looks really good. You saw not a lion, but a mountain lion.
But that's what it looked like.
Okay, so I'm gonna say it's the truth. You struggle, just like I struggle with clouds and that kind of thing. You struggle with animal faces.
Oh, for sure.
And you've done a really good job with that one. We will show his later.
I kind of just like painted it the way I wanted to paint it.
I washed this little brush and I'm going back to the big one just so that we can get more bang for our buck on this next step. If you feel more comfortable using this one, you totally can, because we're going to be doing some sort of curved wavy lines. Going to mix the yellow and white together. And I'm going to use the thin edge of my brush for drawing. I'll just start down here. For me, since I'm right-handed, like starting down here feels the most comfortable. And I'm just going to sketch out from the face, and it can even touch the face. This is how you're going to start directing the flow of the mane. Now you can do, I had mentioned in the instructions, you can do this nice flowing, long, combed out. He's been to the groomer. He's been to winers and liquors. Fine wines and liquors.
Fine wines and liquors.
Or you can do this sort of choppy, because lions are, in nature, if you want that more natural look, they're probably going to be more like this. The choppy, like, been through the brush kind of look. I am going to follow what I did on the original, so I'm not just changing it up too much for you guys.
Oh, I remember one of them was Central Bark.
Yeah, Central Bark. That was really cute.
Mm-hmm.
Now he looks like one of those bald men that grows their hair out on the back.
Kind of looks like Crosby from Crosby, Stills and
No,
Nash.
he looks like that Gallagher guy.
Oh yeah, Gallagher.
Okay, so
Don't watch out for the watch out, watermelon.
I'm gonna come up here at the top, kind of like where like the widow's peak is later, and go upwards and so, sort of brushing out, up and out. And then as I'm getting above the ears, I'm gonna go to just this upper corner, and then as I'm going to the sides, just gonna go off the side. You can overlap into that ear to make it easier for you. Now he's got like the 80s mullet.
But is he in the mullet U.S. national mullet contests?
He would win. So I don't really put any down here because just thinking about like where their body goes. And actually, I didn't ever really look at a photo I looked at photos for the face and everything, but I don't know. Does their mane come down under their neck?
It does.
Oh,
It like comes down onto their chest.
like a bib?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can do that. Let's. I don't know. I'm not gonna do it too much because what I really want is for this to show up, and it shows up so good when there's black under there. Joanna saw it.
Yeah, the
Yes.
tattoo thing.
No, it's the mullet, the kid's mullet. Did you
Oh.
see the kid's mullet who won?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, he obviously.
I
won.
actually thought second place was better. Yeah.
That was really funny. We actually didn't see the competition, but we follow a YouTuber named Cody Co, and he posted a video about it. So we saw the highlights and the lowlights.
I had a mullet back in the day.
Kind of. You had the Captain Planet.
I totally. I not only did I have the Captain
I'm
Planet,
gonna fix this ear.
I looked like Captain Planet.
You were Captain Planet.
I was, aside from not having green hair and blue skin, I looked like Captain Planet.
So what was Captain Planet? Was he like Greta Thunberg in a cape?
No, it was like a I don't remember. It was a cartoon in the late 90s. It was
Yeah, what is it? But what was his special power?
he's saving the planet.
Nice.
I don't know. He flew and.
I see a spot I missed, so you guys.
I see a little spot that I missed on the canvas.
So Captain Planet.
Yeah, I don't remember.
He just flew.
He flew around.
Like, did he
and-
save the planet? His name's Captain Planet.
Yeah, I mean, he was totally
was
like
climate
he was
control.
an eco warrior.
Good. You can become Captain Planet again.
I want to get.
We need a Captain Planet.
I want to get an EV car, but my needs and EV do not line up at this point in time.
An EV?
Electronic vehicle.
Oh.
I need a little bit bigger of a vehicle, and the bigger vehicles that are electro vehicles are out of my budget.
Okay, so we are on step 5 if you're following along the instructions, and we're going to start adding some shading to the face. But first, let's get a second coat of this pale yellow mix on here. And so if you need to mix some more of that up, feel free to do so. If you want your lion to look a little bit more brown, what you can do is you can use the corner of your brush and just pick up a little nick of black and stir it in there. So that's an option for you if you want to do that. But we need this guy to start looking a little more opaque on the face. So I'll just start with the snout right above the nose here. And already you can see the difference. Getting that second coat on there. Every little spot that you painted this yellow color, you want to hit it up again. And right here, you do want to end up connecting the outer corners of this lower chin area to here. You know, there's a horror movie about a lion coming out. I don't know, maybe it already made its way to
Do you remember
theaters.
that Ghost in the Darkness
That was
movie?
a good movie. Oh my gosh. What's his name?
Michael Douglas?
Michael Douglas and Val Kilmer.
That was a true story too.
Yeah, embellished by
based.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Really good movie. We saw, so that came out in the 90s. I think we watched it in Sun River.
Maybe.
And yeah, it was a great movie. But no, yeah, there's a new movie coming out. I saw the trailer for it when we were watching like YouTube trailers about this lion that's real vicious. He's like the Jaws. He's Jaws of the Jaws of the jungle. Jaws of the jungle. Watch out for that lion.
Oh, stop.
Oh my gosh. I'm just reading. Like Cujo. Oh. Thank you for the compliment on the painting. But yes, it is, yeah, the lion is like Cujo.
You know, I don't think I've ever watched Cujo. I've seen bits and pieces over the years, but I've never actually sat down and watched it. I was a little young to be my demographic when it first came out, and then kind of that, you know, that in between where it's like not quite cool yet to watch, you know, when you're in high school or something, because it's
It wasn't cool to watch Stephen King? What?
not Cujo.
Cujo? Cujo's Stephen King.
I know, but it wasn't like a cool movie to watch.
Oh, really?
I didn't think so.
It's technically a horror movie.
I know. Well, but you know, I'm not the biggest horror movie guy.
No. You're a wimp.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
He doesn't like horror movies. I
don't dislike them. It's just not my favorite.
I have to be in a mood to watch them. For sure. Did you like Jaws too?
Yeah, well, that's different. That's kind of like watching Sharknado almost.
We
you know,
just
it's
watched
like-
that. We went to the beach and we stayed in this little crusty house in a crusty little town.
It was pretty crusty.
And so we had to watch
So when I'm
a
doing
horror
that,
movie that had to do with the ocean. So the one thing that was available to us was Jaws 2. And I remember, I said, we have to watch this. I remember it being so scary, so much blood, so scary. And
it was awful.
I was probably, I want to say, I must have been around 8 or 9 when I watched it.
Yeah.
And watching it as an adult, it's like, this is not scary at all.
Oh, so we've been watching, in the horror realm, we've been watching Ash versus Evil Dead on Netflix. 98%.
Very gory.
98% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is actually really good in that campy, cheesy line.
Yeah, we're big into the dumb horror movies too, for sure. For sure. And some of them are so dumb you actually get mad at them. I had one like that recently because it's like, this movie should have never been made. It's so dumb.
Which one was that?
It was called Open House.
Oh, that just...
It like had all the stuff to be a good movie, and just the choice of the storyline plummeted.
It's always the execution, right?
Yeah. It's like it had a twist in it that just ended up being a stupid twist.
That's never good.
Okay, so I'm going to take my number 8 brush, and now we are going to start shading some of this dark brown in, which you can do a lot, and you can soften it up with more yellow, because that's the nice thing. You can just sort of play around and see if you like it darker or lighter on yours. And we shade the inner ears with this color. So we're just going to take this color that we've been working with, which maybe you have some left.
I still think that out of all the thriller movies and stuff, like
Well, throw a little black in there.
psychological thrillers and stuff, I still think that the movie Jacob's Ladder has the biggest, like, are you kidding me twist at the end.
You know, I don't really remember that movie.
It's not like it's a horror movie per se. It is kind of, but it's more of a psychological thriller. And the twist at the end is like a no. What?
So you can put a little red in here if you want to warm it up, because it's kind of a greenish color. It's very ashy, and I think adding a tiny bit of red in there, I just got that idea from Paul because I just saw he did it and I thought, why didn't I think about that? Yes, absolutely, add red. I don't even know if the instructions notate that. What are the
I did add
yeah, it
turquoise
does
too.
actually. The instructions do say to use red, and you use turquoise too. Okay, so we're gonna come down, and when I start painting this on, then I can tell right away, is this too light or too dark? I think I like this tone right now. And later on, we actually add some black to the inner corners of the eye. When I painted this, I sort of thought like
Pride
the
and
light
Prejudice
is maybe shining here, so it's casting more of a shadow over here, which is why you see more over here.
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. So one of the actresses from that is the actress who's playing Galadriel in the new
Really?
Rings of Power. Yeah. We haven't seen that movie though. I haven't. You saw it, didn't you?
I don't either.
I thought you saw it.
No. I have the book. And I don't know what happened to the book. I started to read it and apparently wasn't in the mood for it. So coming out this way. Now, with doing a smooth transition here, you can see there's a definite line where the light yellow and the brown meet. I could bring this brown all the way to the edge, but one of the things I like to do is just soften it up. So I'm going to wash my brush, dry it off, and then I'm going to go back to my yellowy beige color. What was that? I heard a little noise over there. Do you have rats?
We might.
I think it was just a building settling. We have ghosts. The ghosts of Sherwood followed us. So I'm just softening the edge here, going over the seam where the dark and light color meet. And you can see already it's just a more pleasant shading. And you can cover up this black line if you want. We do shade, like I said, we shade some more black in here anyways. And on the muzzle itself, you can put some shading over here.
Oh, I've got like a no man's zone.
Where the paint's not sticking.
I've got one of my sketch lines is not covering. But I think I might have got it.
And then they do have this ridge in the middle of their forehead. Right here. And just like if you look at your dog or cat, they also have that. It's just, I don't know, what, the frontal lobe? So I find that the middle part here and just sketch down. And I'm going to just blend that outwards. And I might need to make that a little darker. Oh, that's too red. Okay. Just add a little more yellow in there.
Is this going to look wrong if we don't make one side more shaded than the other?
No, absolutely not.
No, I don't think so either.
This is just me, like, doing what I normally do when I do portraits. I always try to pick a light source. And no, you can absolutely do it so it looks like the light is shining directly on the face. So here, this looks really funny. It needs to be blended in, so just like what I did over here. I'm going to wash my brush and go back to my light yellow color.
So just so you guys...
I'm going to wipe my brush before I touch the
Let me
canvas
just throw
with it.
something out there, just a little color theory wise, because we don't really talk about color theory much. But in shading this, and I know you're using a brown, but basically you're doing is making a purple and adding yellow to it to make it brown. If you were to use purplish tones for the shadows on this as well, purple and yellow are contrasting colors. They're directly across each other on the color wheel, so they're going to be a nice complementary color. And then warming it up with a little bit of yellow brings it more into the brownish tone, and that makes it a nice balance.
Yeah. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just sort of glazing over the edges of this brown line I put on here with this color, the light yellow that we did as our base. And you can do that anywhere you want to soften. Like maybe this is just a little too harsh and I want to soften it. Just glaze over it with a light coat of that. So that means not a lot of paint on your brush. And I can add just a little more shading here. So shading is going to make things look a little more recessed, I guess is the word. And
Depth.
the highlights are going to bring the things out.
Contour.
Yeah. So if you wanted to, like, let's say I wanted to really make this look like it's indented, I could mix a bit more white into my yellow mix, and on either side of this, I could do a highlight.
Now, ladies, if you are into the makeup thing and you think about contouring,
Hey, some guys like makeup too.
guys too, you're right.
Look
But
at that though, yeah.
think of it in that same kind of way. You can kind of lay down a highlight or a shadow and then blend that out. It's kind of the same.
Yeah. So another place I could put highlight. So see, I put a little highlight, very subtle, on either side of that line, and suddenly it kind of looks a little more three-dimensional. And I could keep doing that over and over and over with lighter and lighter colors to make it even more so. But there's really no need to do that. But you can do that here too. Like you've got these recessed areas that are dark, and if you wanted to make this look like it really stands out, you can do a highlight along the edge. If you're shading this side like it's in shadow, you wouldn't do so much over there, but you could do quite a bit over here. Kind of fun. Play around with that.
Like I could keep it thinking of Bailey, what's her name?
Sarian?
Bailey Sarian's makeup tutorials while I'm doing this on the face. I actually enjoy her YouTube channel.
Yeah.
She does really cool makeup on herself while she's telling true crime
stories. So we need to paint these inner ears. You can leave them black if you want. It's really not such a huge difference if you look at the two. But if you want to stick with the instructions, you can just use this brown and just give it a thin coat. In fact, I'm going to mix a little black with that. Get a bit darker color. And there, yes, Kim, there are those of us with no clue with makeup.
Hey, I'm one of them.
I can get by, but if I, you'd think that like being an artist that I could do all this stuff. I just don't have the confidence painting on my face.
Our daughter, on the other
Our
hand.
daughter, on the other hand, like, she could probably go get hired at Sephora right now at 16 years old.
Sephora? I was thinking like Mac.
I don't know. I think you have to be 18 to work at Mac.
Oh, yeah, but I'm talking just skill-wise.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Okay. So we're getting there. We are getting there. Cruising on through. What do we do next? We need to get some white here and here and under the eyes. Lions have white that, in fact, let me show you this. It starts small and it's almost like eyelashes, but it's just the way their fur is. Brush wise, you can either use your number 6 or number 4 or your number 8. I am going to probably go with my number 8. It really depends on how comfortable you feel using a bigger brush versus a little bit smaller brush. And we want to use the thin edge of this brush, pure white, and just come in real small here at the inner corner of the eye. And
Wait,
think
what
of
brush
it,
are you using?
I'm using my number 8.
Okay.
So using the skinny edge of the brush, think of this like white eyelashes. They slowly get longer and longer as you reach the outer corner. But it's fur. It's not connected to their eye at all. In fact, it's just under. It's just that area under their eye. Animals have the coolest natural makeup. They get all the black eyeliner, black lipstick too.
Are you saying they're goth?
They're goth. So you can make this pretty dramatic if you want, like by bringing it out pretty far at the outer corners. So is Daniel not able to make our...
I don't know if he knew that it was tonight. He and I were chatting today about he wants to go bike riding sometime.
Nice.
I was like, let's do it.
So now on the muzzle part, we can start here on the right side, just right under the nose. Cover up that black area and bring it into the yellow just a bit. Here it doesn't really matter. I like to use the wide side of the brush to get the main area done, and then as I get to the outer edges where I want it to look like fur.
Now, are you talking about the primary area or the main? Dun, 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 dun. Boom.
Ba-dum-bum-bum.
I feel like we need like one of those machines that does like sound effects. You know, like push a button and it's like does the rim shot. Ba-dum-ching.
I'm leaving a little skinny area
I'm gonna find out what
between the
I'm
two.
gonna get one of those. That'll be fun.
No, I don't think we need that.
Oh, I think we do.
So I want to leave a skinny area between the two little muzzles, which will get black on it later or dark brown. There. Now this will probably need a second coat because you can see a little bit of the black background behind. You can go ahead and do that now if you want. If it's not sticking, then wait a bit and do it later. And I'm just doing this second coat kind of in this main central area here. And we need to add the chin hairs. They're done in beige to start, and then we do white later. So you could just go right to the white, but I'll follow the instructions.
I always said I wouldn't be a dad joke person. It just happens naturally, apparently.
Yes, it does. Paul does have a TikTok, but it's golf.
I don't post anything.
So I'm using the thin edge of my brush and creating this fun little beard here. It's a goatee.
I might someday.
You might someday what?
I haven't posted anything on TikTok.
Oh, I thought you had.
No.
You too scared.
Well, you know, being a middle-aged guy and being on TikTok is kind of... It's kind of a weird thing.
Hey there, I see plenty. You send me videos from tons of middle-aged guys.
I do, but the general reception is not so positive.
Well, I think TikTok used to be this app called Musical.ly, which was
did.
all the young kids.
Yeah, it did.
Okay. So, moving on. We are now on step 6. We're going to start adding some turquoise to the lion mane, the face, and the eyes. So I did do... The eyes are in blue just because we can do that. In the painting world, you can make a lion that wouldn't necessarily exist in nature. We know they don't have pink and blue manes, but you can totally give it whatever eye color you want. You could mix the turquoise and yellow and make a greenish, add a little white to it to make it more opaque or lighten it a bit. Play around with that if you want. You can make lavender with turquoise and red and a little white if you want to do like lavender eyes. But I will show you how to do the turquoise.
Yeah, see, Sid's got the nail on the head. I was going to say creepy. Yes.
What's creepy?
A
the dad, yeah.
Middle-aged guy being on TikTok. It for sure can be. It just depends on what you're doing on there.
Yeah. So we are going to use plenty of turquoise next because we're going to put it throughout the mane. We're going to put some on the face and the eyes. So let's go ahead and mix it up. The color we're going to use with our biggest brush, and it's just white and turquoise. Play around with it. Make it as light or dark as you want. I'm just probably going to do pretty close to equal parts white to turquoise. If anything, it's maybe a tiny bit more turquoise than white. Keep this brush handy. Just set it aside. We'll use it in a few minutes. Let's go ahead and pick up our smallest brush now. Dip it in the turquoise. We're going to work on the eyes. So what I like to do is I like to sketch the pupils, and I connect the pupils to the upper part of the eye, but you want them to come down fairly far into the eye, or else it can look like your lion is rolling its eyes at you. So I do bring that circle. It's just like maybe the top quarter of the circle is not showing. And then you want to kind of make sure they're fairly centered so he doesn't look cross-eyed or wall-eyed. We do cover over them in black anyways, so if you need to redraw it later, there's plenty of opportunity. Mine's maybe a little bit wall-eyed. He's looking opposite directions a little. And then you can fill in, I'm going to pick up my number 4 brush, and I'll fill in the rest of the eye. You might use your smallest brush depending on how small or large the actual eyeball is. And they are... like most animals, you don't see any white to their eye unless they're really upset. I know that if I see the whites of my dog's eyes, then something's wrong. They're distressed.
I do like this pop of color.
Yeah. Yeah, the shape of your lion eyes are really good. Mine, everything is big on mine. Big by comparison to what I did on the original.
I swear there's like a country song about lion eyes.
What?
Not lion, lying.
Lying, like L-Y...
Yeah.
I-N-G.
True.
That's funny. She's got lion eyes. Okay, so I'm just getting a nice coat of this color on here. Right now the eyes are going to look really zombie-like. They're just staring at you very scarily.
The lion is rolling its eyes because it heard one of Paul's jokes. Very, very possible.
That's good. Yes, it did.
Very much so. As it should. As it should.
Oops. Okay, so this happened. I rolled it in red. And I want to get that off.
Rolling in the red. That didn't work.
Is that like
Rolling in the Deep I was trying to do.
Oh, no. But you made it sound like it was like an 80s, like...
Well, that's because when I hit my falsetto, it just didn't work.
Okay, so we will put some turquoise on the face, but for right now I'm going to actually go to the mane next. Now you can decide whether you are a turquoise person or not. And you can load these streaks of mane up with lots of turquoise. Or you can do a little. We are going to put yellow in here. We're going to put pink in here. And then I'm going to show you how to make kind of a lime green. Which I don't even think I mentioned that on the instructions. The lime green, but I figured I'd do it on the video. And if you accidentally overlap a bit of the ear here and there, that's okay. It would do that for real. The wind's gonna blow. Blow this glamorous mane around. I hear a helicopter coming in. Oh, so spill what you saw this morning. That was kind of cool.
Oh, so yeah, so we are part of the air park. Our building is part of an air park. And it's not a very busy one. It's just a little municipal one, and it's usually just kind of like on the weekends. But part of the municipal air park is many mornings during the week and weekend they do hot air balloon
during the summer.
During the summer, hot air balloon rides, like right at sunrise, and usually I don't get to work early enough to see them. But today, on our way in, we got to see. They had drifted a little south of us, but not very far. And so we got to see them. And then, yesterday there was some guy in one of those paragliders.
Oh, that's cool.
Had just taken off.
Nice.
Or was taking off. So we get to see some fun stuff. There's actually a helicopter school that's literally 100 yards from where we're sitting right now. Black with
Super
turquoise
fun.
would just make it a bit darker.
Yes,
Yeah.
it would. We'll tone it down and make it a tint. Is that right? Tint?
Yeah, you could also add a little bit of red if you wanted to not be so intensely.
Yeah, red will tint it down nicely too without like being as harsh as black. What I want to do real quick is talk about the adding color to the face. Now this can be scary because it feels like it's not something you would see in nature, and your thought would probably be, where the heck do I put the color? So you can see this one I went a little more crazy. I added a lot more turquoise to the face. And this one, just a little. And the cool thing is, if you add these little pops of color to the face, you can let it dry and paint this light golden color back over the top. So that's an option, absolutely. So brush-wise, I think I'm going to use my second largest brush, number 8. Just a little bit of paint. You don't need much. In fact, it's going to feel a little more comfortable if you use way less. So you can see I have very, very little paint here. And I'm going to go down this side of the muzzle. I used to do a Paint Your Pet class live in person, and we would pre-sketch people's pets when they send a photo, and I would show them all how to add colors that are not found in nature to their pets, because a lot of times people have a black dog.
Or white.
Black was really the one where we really want to add more color to, because you can end up with just a complete,
there's no detail.
Black blob, no detail. And so we would show people how to add metallic silver, how to add turquoise, how to add blue.
Turquoise is a great one.
Yeah.
Turquoise and blue.
But it was always a little scary, and once people saw that it looked kind of cool, they really went to town with it. So I'm adding some along here. And along here. Think of it like he's in a party room and there's multicolored lights shining around. And then I think we'll add, every time you add some, just use very little paint. I think I'll add some along here. And you can add it up in the ears. That's not going to be, like, you can go crazy up in there. That's not going to be a spot that's going to really grab too much attention. Maybe a little on the cheekbone.
Yeah, I just realized how hungry I am.
Yeah, today was, I don't know, today was kind of weird. It went by fast, and then our daughter came home from school with her friend, and they're doing they have a video class together, and they're doing a video project, and suddenly it was like, I need this, Mom, where's this? Mom, I need this. Like, I'm trying to get ready to go do this filming thing.
Why did you guys check out all this equipment? We have it all.
Yeah, they checked out like a tripod and a camera. We're like, we have all that. My paper towel is getting a little trashed.
They have one too many?
It did. It had one too many. I think right now is a good time to put a second coat in the eyes. So I'll use, again, my number 8 brush. As the paint dries, that's when you really start seeing through it. So when you first paint it on, it might look opaque, and then after it dries, it's like, what happened here? Magic trick. So that's when I'll come in with the second coat. And the nice thing about the second coat is it eliminates funky brush strokes for the most part. Still looking a little wall-eyed. That's all right. That's all right. Now I might do right now a second coat of the white under the eyes, because I do like that to be nice and bright. I'm using that same brush I was just using, number 8. You can use a smaller one if you want. You can use that thin edge of the brush and tap it up really close to the eye.
Give it a little tippy tap.
A little tappy tap. Tap, tap, tap-a-roo.
Tap, tap, tap-a-roo.
So that's from Happy Gilmore, one of our favorite movies.
We haven't watched it in at least a year, which is unusual.
There's a funny scene where it's called The Ninth Hole at 9. Is that a real thing?
No.
Okay, so they send Happy Gilmore out to... We're doing a little meetup at the Ninth Hole at 9.
Wear your best
clothes. I'm going to do a second coat here and here too. And what happens on the Ninth Hole at 9 is all the sprinklers automatically come on, and then you're halfway right in the middle of the course, so you got to walk through all the sprinklers to get home. And we walk our dogs at night. I think we mentioned it before, through the park locally, and the sprinklers come on at 9:52.
Yeah. Something like
so
that.
Our son, he likes to come with us, and he has all these routines he does, because that's very much the way kids who have Asperger's are. And one of the things is the Ninth Hole at 9. How much time do we have, Hayden? Oh, we have 45 minutes to get through before we hit the Ninth Hole at 9. So last night we were on our walk, and we saw what looked to be like bear poop, which is really weird because we're in the suburbs. But we
are in the suburbs, but the whole town is surrounded by wetland and wildlife refuges. So there is wildlife.
Yeah, that was a little interesting. It's like right on the path.
I was like, everybody just talk a little louder.
Yeah, we're going to talk really loud on this walk. Okay, so we are on step 7 now. Let's see, we're going to add some more colors to the mane, and then we'll develop the face a little more. Right now the face is kind of looking very cartoonish because there's not a lot of
honestly, with all this
shading.
Color and stuff, it's going to be hard to get away from it being a little bit
Yeah,
cartoony.
absolutely. So let's add color to the mane. Now this is where you can have some fun. You can mix white and red and make pink. You can throw a little turquoise in there and have it be more on the lavender side. And you can decide if you're doing pink, you can decide what level of pink you want. Do you want raspberry smoothie pink? Or do you want like very pastel pink? I'm going to do raspberry smoothie pink. About like that. It's like the Barbie box color. Or like the color if you blend up raspberries with yogurt. And my turquoise is all dry now, so I can just paint in and around this. Why does it remind me of like a 1980s hairband?
Like White Lion?
Yes, White Lion.
When the children cry,
Oh my gosh.
let them know
Did they look like
you
this?
tried. Totally.
Did they look like this, really? They had the
Yeah.
hair like this? The hair and the spandex?
Name a band that didn't. The Ramones. But they weren't hair metal, so...
Oh, hair metal. Do you think it'll ever make a comeback?
I think it's never gone away.
Really?
No, everybody secretly loves it.
I like it for this nostalgia because it reminds me of like, oh, 7th grade. Man, we were totally into Def Leppard. Now you can look at it and think, did I add too much pink? Do I need to take some of that pink away? But what I'm going to do, let's see, what am I going to add here?
I hear a helicopter.
I'm going to do purple because adding the lavender in is not going to mess up the pink. If I were to add yellow in, then I could end up with some orangey areas, which might be kind of cool. That's a color you could do. You could mix yellow and red and have orange. You can throw a little white in there. You can make it totally peach, or you can make it medium orange, like pumpkin orange. I don't think I put any orange in at all. But I'll do purple. So I've got my pink here. I'm going to add a bit more to it. My white's getting really polluted. And then I'll just scrape off a little bit of turquoise. And look at that. It makes a very toned down lavender. And I could add more turquoise and just get it gradually darker and darker. Okay. Oh, so this is really close to my pink. A little too close, so I'm going to add a bit more turquoise and red just to deepen it. Yeah, it's still not super different than the pink, so I don't need to use very much here. One of the things I do want to do, I want to wash my brush first. A lot of this is going to dry, but I do want to bring some down on the forehead. So lions do have a widow's peak like that. So see how it kind of does this heart shape? Right now mine doesn't at all, and I need to make it do that. So I'm going to use my number 8 brush using the thin edge. I'll just use this color I mixed up. Come down here onto the forehead and just blend that out into the mane. Another color that's good for this is if you have any of your dark brown left, which I don't, mine's completely dried up. So that was yellow, black, a little white, a little red. Yeah, yours is sounding very dry brushy.
I feel like my song's gonna go boom, boom, boom.
So the brown here is a nice addition because we don't have a lot of that going on throughout here. And the brown can just kind of come down on the face and just sort of blend upwards. Everything about this at this point you can change up. So if you feel like, you know, this is a little too colorful for me. I did design it to sort of match the elephant we did back in the winter. But if you feel like it's a little too colorful, let this mane dry, and you can come in with the brown and you can sort of dull everything down a bit and see, just add some streaks of the brown throughout. See how you like that. And then you can also mix this color, white, yellow, a touch of the black. You can add some of that brown throughout, similar to the face color. More than anything, this is just a painting to have fun with.
I am definitely having fun.
Experiment with color, experiment with shading, experiment with eyeliner, because we are going to do that really soon. And if you have areas where you can see the speckled black, just plant another color over the top, or you could come in with, like, I'll just use this number 8 brush. I could come in with black, and I could even just add streaks of hair color with the black. Especially if you kind of ended up where everything is blending into all one color and you want some separation. If you use the thin edge of this brush and add some black streaks throughout here, that's very helpful. Come right up to the face. Alright, we are going to start transforming this face. It needs a little bit of help. I am going to still add a bit more colors to my mane because I do like adding the white. You can see that here. These are the little threads of silver to show that he has officially reached over the age of 40. And let's see, what are we going to do next? Let's get some black shading down here and here. So this is going to help a lot to turn this from being too cartoony. I'm going to use my number 8 brush. It's my favorite for this sort of thing. And you know what? I'm going to mix a little black into... there's my wet brown. I'm going to mix a little black into the brown I was just using. And starting at the inner corner of the eye, use the thin edge of this brush and come down. And here's the thing, the tricky thing. You want to, as you go down, sort of start brushing outward too. And if it's too harsh, too much, wash your brush, dry it off. Make sure you dry it off really good so you're not bringing a bunch of water in here. And just use that dry brush with the wet paint and spread it outward. Same thing over here. Let me know if you guys would be interested in, for those who have not done the elephant painting, I thought about this the other day. I could totally do a box set that would be a little bit of a savings to do both the elephant and the lion. I think they use almost the same color palette.
I think they use the same.
The elephant has raw sienna, and it might use phthalo red instead of red, but you could...
It's interchangeable,
yeah,
really.
They are. I'm just shading a little more on this side, only because I did that in the original and talked about how I kind of planted my light sources being over here. And you can even come down on the muzzle in here if you need some more separation. Technically this probably would be in shadow. Let's get the nose color painted on. That's gonna help a lot. And I know I made kind of a terracotta color. What did I mix? Okay. Deep yellow, red, and add a tiny bit of white. So probably the same brush, number 8. So deep yellow, red, let's make orange first. I can tell already I put way too much red, so do a little more yellow than red. I don't know that you could actually get a pumpkin orange out of this.
No. I tried.
This color would be cool to add to the hair. Look at that. Ooh, that's fun. I like that.
Which color?
This
oh, I kind of did some
orange,
of that.
yeah.
Not quite that color, but similar.
So to get that nose color, just add a tiny bit of red. I mean, tiny bit of white to this. It's going to really overpower it right away. This is... I know there's glare. Look at that. Look at that glare. So that's kind of the color I want. I could even add just a dot of turquoise to mute that down just a bit. So the turquoise is just going to tone it and make it a little more of a natural color. now I have a lot of paint on my brush from mixing color. And this is not a big area, and I don't want a ton of paint, so I'm going to swipe that off, either on your palette or on your paper towel, whatever you're using, paint rag. And now I swiped off too much. I'm going to add a little in there, just a little at a time.
So Kim wondered if we would do the elephant as a full face versus a half face.
Yeah, I think that would be a good option for sure. I mean, we're doing this lion as a full face, so that would be fun. So that's something I'll file away in my head. Just added a bit more white to some of this. And we do give this nose a nice fresh outline in black, so just bring this color right to the edges.
Oh, nose color. That's what we're on to.
Yep. And now if you feel like you need to go back and add any more brown shading throughout the face, now is a good time to do that because most of the face is dry. I've really destroyed my paper towel tonight.
What is going on?
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shade, let's see, when do I do that? Yes, I'm going to shade around the pupil with, so when we filled in the iris part of the eye, so the color part of the eye, we used turquoise mixed with white, so that made this light kind of minty turquoise color. And now I want to use the unmixed turquoise, so just the plain right out of the tube turquoise, my smallest brush. And we're going to shade the eye. Let me show you. I don't know if it shows. Let me see which one it shows up best on. Maybe this one. You can see it a little bit. It's kind of subtle. But anytime I'm painting eyes on anything, I like to add multiple tones because your eyelid will cast a shadow down on your eye. So technically, you do have, even if you have just all blue eyes, you've got multi-tones going on in there. So I'm just going to use this plain turquoise and come around the pupil. Don't worry if you paint into the pupil, we get to redo it in black anyway. And I'll come along the top edge of the eye too, just to shade around it. So this lower part right here, this kind of smile shape, that's all going to be the light turquoise. Paul, we need the zoom in feature. Where's your little remote?
I got it.
Okay, so let's zoom in on this eye. Here we go. So you can kind of see it now. I'll smooth that. So coming along the top edge here, around that pupil. Oh my gosh, it's so nice with the zoom in. So you can see it's not a huge difference. If I had made this turquoise lighter, then it would really stand out. But later on, we do put white highlights in the eye, so you can really see it there. And now let me just scoot everything over. And I'll shade this one now. So one thing that's kind of cool is you can do this sort of sunburst brush stroke out from the pupil. And gosh, you really can't see it on there too much. You know, I'll add a little black to mine just so you guys can see it. You don't have to do this on yours, but I'm going to deepen it and darken it just a bit more. I should do a video on just how to do eyes because I love painting eyes and adding the highlights and shadows and all that. So I added just a touch of black to mine. Here, I'll show you. I added just a little bit of black because my light turquoise and plain turquoise were a little too close, and I really wanted to show you guys the shading. And if you overdid it, you can just remix this light turquoise color and come back in and add that back in there. Sometimes painting's a series of going back and forth.
True that.
Most of the time it is. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. Oh, I still have some light turquoise. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Right here, I maybe got it a little too shaded. So I'll use the light turquoise and come in from the bottom. Okay, pretty cool. You can stay zoomed in actually because we're going to do eyeliner. We are going to outline these eyes so you can see I've got gold liner now, and I've got just a little bit of black where I left it black around. That's totally fine. We're going to join the two together. Let's have a look at, let's see which one. Here's a good one. Look at that. You can see it's nice and big. There's no neatness to it at all on this one. I tend to make things over neat, so here's one where I did do it a little too over neat. And you can see the difference. I actually like this one better, but you might like this one better. It's up to you. Up to you what you do here. So let's take this little brush. I'm gonna grab my palette. So I want you to take and dip your brush in water. Put a little bead of water next to your black, and it can be discolored. That's totally fine. Let's stir some black into it. So we're refreshing the black paint now with some water, which is going to liquefy it really nicely and make it perfect for outlining something. And now with mixing, a lot of times you end up with too much paint on your brush, so you can pull and twist. Ooh, that's kind of fun. And then just redip the tip of the bristles in to your mix. And let's start with the inner corner. I'm going to completely cover my golden outline. I want this black to come all the way down to the iris color. So you don't want any of that gold showing at all. And this is going to make the eyes look a little more sleepy.
Because they're getting ready to sleep at night.
They're resting.
Next week.
And then you can flick this up if you want, as much as you want. Give that cat eye. Cat eye liner. That's why they call it cat eye. And then around the bottom, I like to bulge this part out a bit. It's funny how it's starting to get so dark now. So early. So like normally the last month when we filmed, it was still really light out at this time.
5 minutes per week.
Is that really what it is?
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to take my dry number 4 brush and just sort of smudge out this bottom. I'm teaching you guys how to do eyeliner. If you really wanted to do like a smudged out look, smoky eye, that's what we're doing. We're doing a lion smoky eye. Look at that. Just taking and smudging the smallest amount of wet black paint down here. Now you know how to do a smoky eye. And you can reduce the size of the eye if you've got like anime eyes and they're a little bit too big, just by bringing your black inwards. But just make sure you do it with this eye too. Pretty cool looking. And you can bring this black down a bit. I don't know if I don't have a piece of paper nearby. I'll use my palette.
I can go grab one.
No, it's okay. I can use the palette. So the lion eyes end up being shaped kind of like...
Mine have got, janky eyes.
Like that. So see how the inner corner goes way down? Ooh, pretty cool. Okay. Let's get working on the other one in a minute. I like it. For me, again, I've said it earlier, working on the left side's a little bit of a challenge, being that I'm right-handed.
Okay, I fixed it. Mostly. I'll live with it.
Are you not good at eyeliner, Paul?
I have, yeah, no, I mean, it's all right. I just kind of got them off. They were
Oh, thanks for the compliment on my nails. Aren't they fun?
They were just a little too asymmetrical.
I used the, I said it before, I used the Kiss brand nails that just stick on because most of the time I don't have anything on my nails. I've lived most of my life without doing, I've never had a manicure in my life. And part of that is just because I do so much art that I'm constantly getting paint all over my hands. And I just didn't want to deal with it. But these just stick on. You can use the glue that comes with the package, which I found out I have an adhesive allergy, and it extends to all kinds of glues. Bandage glue, nail glue, eyelash glue. I just can't do any of that. So you can get these little stickers that don't last super long, just long enough for me to film a video. There I am. I'm plugging Kiss brand. You can buy them at Walgreens. And is Walgreens international? Like, I mean national.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Might even be international.
I'm sure they have it at CVS and Rite Aid.
Rite Aid, yeah, for sure. Or online. You just go to
probably even
Kiss,
Target and Walmart.
Kiss.com or something like that. My daughter and I buy them online. Okay, so now I want to refresh the pupils because, like, this one has become where it's not even circular anymore. And you can make them bigger if needed, and if you've got, like, cross eyes or wall eyes, this is where you can fix that. So I've got wall eyes where they're looking two different directions slightly. So what I would do in that case is bring this inner corner in. And maybe not necessarily do much with the outer corner there. And this one comes down just a little bit further than that one. You can really tell by measuring the space between here and here, and here and here. You can see that there's a difference. And a lot of it might be my eyeliner. I can scooch my eyeliner up and bring my pupil down just a bit too, so I'm getting it close enough that it's okay. It's never going to be exact. Nice. Oh, I need to smudge. Smudge out that eyeliner at the bottom. Ah, it dried. Okay, so what I'll do in that case is just refresh wet paint along here. And I'm using my number 4 brush to just sort of smoke out this bottom bit. Pretty cool. Oops, that was a little too much. Yeah. So now the eyes really pop, even though they don't even have highlights in them yet. They are pretty exotic looking. And we'll outline the nose. Let's have a look. Very sloppy outline on this. And I like that look because I tend to neaten stuff up too much, so I try to force myself to be a little more sloppy. So you can see it kind of bumps up on either side like that and curls up. I'll show you how to do all that. This guy has a really big nose compared to the others. I'm going to use my number 4 brush because I want a little bit thicker outline. You can see this is not a thin, skinny outline like this is. So we're going to use that number 4 brush. Go ahead and dip it in your black paint. In fact, we may even, what did I do here? I might have used a different tone. Hold on here. Yeah. I mixed a little black in with my brown color, but I've got this orange, which will be perfect. I'll just mix some of that in there. And my goal here is just to make something that's a little off black. It's not exactly totally black. It's kind of brownish. I think on the first version I did of this, I outlined it with solid black. And it's okay. And I slightly curve up on the edges. If you need to use your smallest brush to to make that part really pointy, you can. And now nostrils, they do have nostrils. They are like located here. You can curve in a little bit in here. You can look at a photo of a lion if you want. I didn't really get into the nostrils too much with the instructions because that can be a little overwhelming. Noses on any kind of critter, human, animal, otherwise, they can be kind of difficult. And one of the things that lions, cats, dogs all have is they have this line that goes part way up, about halfway up their actual nose, and then it extends down here and into the mouth. So I'm going to do that now with my off black color. Use the thin edge of your brush. Let's go ahead and come about halfway up. Press really lightly. You don't want that to be a super hard line. And then down in here you can press a little bit harder. And you can even make a little bit of a lower lip, very thin. You don't want it to look like its tongue sticking out or anything. Or maybe you do. It's your painting, you can do whatever you want. Let's trace this out here and here. And in just a bit, we don't have a whole lot left to do on this, but in just a bit we'll add some fine fur. That you see how that comes over. And this one looks too cartoony. So we'll add some of that in just a bit. So work on that for a minute while I assess. Assess and make sure I got everything that I wanted to at this point. Okay. Yeah, we don't have much left. All detail work, but easy detail work. So Paul, I'm gonna have you zoom me out. Fancy. Okay. Let's add some white to the mane. So Paul, I'm gonna have you zoom out just a little bit so we can see the whole thing. The white in the mane I really like. It takes it from just being sort of all one tone to just having some bright highlights or silvery gray streaks in it. So let's use our number 8 brush. You can use the thin edge of your biggest brush if you want, depending on what you feel comfortable with. Any of those brushes, really, it's just what you feel comfortable with. I'll dip this in white. And I'm going to start up in here in the Widow's Peak area because this is a little see-through right there. And this white will help cover that up. And I don't know about you guys, if any of you guys have gray hair, it started for me right up in here. I've actually got what's called a Malin streak. And it's where like you just grow a like inch wide streak in gray. And I've been fighting it for the past, I don't know, 3 years or so. And I think I'm just about ready to embrace it and just look like a witch. Okay, or Bonnie Raitt. It's like a Bonnie Raitt streak. So now I'm going
My gray hair is all beard.
Yeah, you get like streaks of gray in your beard.
No, my beard is like almost pure gray at this point.
Yeah. It is, actually, and now that I'm looking at you and your mustache. We're getting old.
Yeah. Even just like 2 years ago, my beard was still pretty solidly brown, but...
Yeah, you're right. It was COVID did it.
It's COVID.
The pandemic. So here's what I'm doing now that is totally optional if you don't feel comfortable.
Wait, I never had COVID, so...
No, it's just like the whole going through the pandemic while running a business. So I'm bringing white hair... fur down in front of the ears, and I did that on this one, and it's I think more visible on this one even, right through here especially. I gave him the Farrah hair. It looks like this little swoop. So this is a great way. You can flick it up into the ears a bit. it's a great way to sort of give it some flow so that the mane actually looks like it's part of the lion's face and not just like up above and away. It actually comes down in front of the ears. Flick a little white fuzzies into the ears. Totally fair hair. Now you can add as much white as you want. Okay, let's see. One of my students said I had glitter in my hair last year, and that's how I found out I had gray hair. Kids will always tell you, won't they, Joanna? They always tell the truth. I remember when I first started dating you, Paul, and your niece and nephew were like they were 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And I was 19. So, of course, I had teenage acne. And I remember your niece said, "Why do you have pink polka dots all over your face?"
Did she really?
Yes. And you just laughed. You're like, ha ha! You thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Meanwhile, I'm crushed. It's so funny.
I never noticed that you had acne back then.
I didn't have much, but you know, any that you have when you're a teenage girl's like, oh, it's the worst thing in the world.
I was laughing at the honesty of my niece, not
I know.
not you. Jeez.
I know that. But I still was mad at you. She'd be horrified. Actually, she might laugh. I should remind her when I see her at Christmas.
She's what?
Hey, I want to tell you something.
What is she,
said.
like 32 or
Yeah.
33 now? Yeah.
I want to tell you something you said. So funny. While I've got the white on my brush, I am going to add some white along the top part of the ears as a highlight. Just sort of dab and tap. Tap and swoop. Now I don't want a lot of paint on my brush for highlighting the snout part. Let me see which one has a better, this is a better highlight on this one. So I use the thin edge of the brush and I'm just thinking of it like little pieces of fur, brushing downward. Think of the light source being over here if you're following that. And this is where you can really start making it look like fur just by using the thin edge of the brush, very light pressure, and just coming down as far as you want to go. Like I could highlight along here. I might actually, while I've got the white on my brush, I might actually just give a second coat to this main area here so it's nice and opaque.
Are you talking about the main area or the primary
I'm
area?
sorry, the under the lip area. I said main meaning M-A-I-N. I gotta be careful.
You gotta keep in mind we are painting a mane.
Yes. This main muzzle area. How about that?
Primary muzzle
maybe
area.
the primary muzzle area.
Let's call it primary.
And you can get a little highlight over here too, just a little residual highlight. If you're having an actual light source, you'll want to do less over here than you did here. And this part you can always hit up with a second coat. You can come from the top of the nose and put little fuzzies down here. And I want to go along here from the outer edge of the muzzle on each side with a little white, and we'll use our small brush to flick some finer hairs down in there, but this is going to help define the muzzle. And on the chin, you'll get use the thin edge of your brush and just flick some white. See how I'm on the edges? I'm sort of flicking out and down. And I try not to make them all the same length. Like there's no clippers here. I don't know, this guy, he might have like hairstylists and clippers and all that. He's pretty fancy. He is the king of the jungle. Look at that.
I always think that's funny because they don't really live in the jungle.
No, they're kind of the Serengeti, aren't they?
They're like they're a grassland.
So who
animal.
is the king of the jungle? Is it like the
I mean, it would have to be
baboons?
tigers.
Oh, yeah.
Tigers live in the jungle.
But aren't tigers, they're like in India, those areas, South Asia.
Yeah. But they're also in Siberia, of all crazy places.
Really? Oh, yeah, there's the Siberian tiger that are white. Those are cool looking, white and brown.
It just dawned on me, Bengal.
Bengal.
That's a part of India.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bengal tiger.
Yeah. My good friend is from there.
Who? Oh, Aru?
yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out
to Aru.
if he's watching this.
I like this to come down to a little point, too. I've got room, so I'm going to do it. And now they have this white fur above their eyes. So remember we did this under the eyes. Think of this as the upper eyelashes. Or if you have one of those dogs that has natural little eyebrows, so many of them do, it's that exact same thing. I'm using the thin edge of my brush, and as I'm going up, I'm not flicking straight up or anything. I'm flicking at kind of at an angle, like angling up towards the ear, and over here I'm going to angle up towards that ear. And just be careful as you come along the eye. If you needed to reduce your eye line down just a bit, this is a great time to do it. Just use your white and kind of carve it out. And how far are we going out? Okay, let's go out to pretty close to the end of the eye. Super cool, I love that. That changed up the face quite a lot. Let's zoom in, Paul. There, now you can see my little hair-like brush strokes along the snout. I can see down here, I need to fix that up a little bit. It looks kind of funny. But yeah, so we're just gonna go along the top of each eye. I'm excited to do your painting next week too. We just need to remember Thursday. Thursday.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll remember.
We'll remember because the next day is Hayden's birthday.
Yeah.
Which is the whole reason. Very cool. Loving that. We are in the final detail phase, which is fun. Before we end this, I will show you how to mix green if you want to do green throughout the mane, which I did on, let's see. Did I do it on, yeah, I didn't do it on this one. There, you don't really see green. I did do it on this one. You see the green there? Very kiwi green. So if you feel like you've got too much pink, blue, and white, we can also add yellow back into the mane. I think I mentioned that in the instructions. But for now, let's leave these eyes alone. And we're going to highlight the nose. Let's have a look. Very simple little highlight, but you want very little paint on your brush. And we're just highlighting this side for the most part. I've got a lot of white on my brush. You can see there's a thick glob, so I'm going to take it and swipe that on my paper towel to where I have very little, and it probably will even be almost too much. I'm going to come in here, very light pressure because I want to be able to control how much white I add. You can come right up to that line, the dividing line. And the cool thing here, remember earlier how I was showing you that you can add highlights on either side here to make this look recessed and these two areas look like they bump out? You can do that on the nose too. You can use the thin edge of your brush and come down along the other side of that. I accidentally painted over the line a bit.
Hear a plane taking off.
And with highlights, you can do where you just have a very subtle smoky highlight there, and then you could add a little bit more opaque highlight in there too. So that's always kind of cool. You can do multiple shades of highlight rather than just white. can do more opaque white. Just dabbing that around because I felt like that was too harsh. Okay. Got, my nostrils are, this one's a little bit bigger than that side, so I'll fix that up real quick. Oh, yours has staring eyes.
Hungry eyes. I take a look at you and I can't decide. I don't know. That's not the right words. Eric Carmen, by the way.
I've got hungry eyes. Okay, so let's have a look at the two different versions of the mouth I did. So you can see I've got like little mustachy whiskery things coming down here. And I used a small brush to get even more detail on these outer edges. This one, this version especially, I have quite a bit more going on there. But I want to show you how to do that so that we can turn the mouth to looking more like that and less like that. Let's take our smallest brush.
I guess it's one look at you and I can't deny.
Go home and watch Dirty Dancing.
I have never seen that movie.
That's weird to me. Okay, so I want to mix a little water with white. So I'm going to take my brush, dip it in the water, plop a little water down here next to your white, stir a bit of white into it. Not much. You don't need much here at all. You just want it watered down a little bit. And if you have the big glob from mixing, just pull and twist like we usually do. And let's see, let's start in an area that's fairly easy. That's okay if you have more paint on your brush than you should. So out here in the outer corners, I'm just going to do short little flicks. I'm not pushing hard at all. It's just the weight of the bristles just barely touching. It's tickling the canvas, just barely tickling it. And I'm purposely making these different lengths. So some I'm going to come in and do really short, and some will be longer. And then I'll go over here and do the same thing. It's a lot like painting eyelashes. The key is watered down paint and very light pressure, and not a lot of paint on your brush. Fuzzy, that's what we're aiming for. Fuzzy. And then on this outer part of the snout, you can come down with a few little rando hairs, fuzz, on either side. The zoom in feature is nice. I bet you guys are liking that. And now in here, very carefully, you can come in and reduce the width of this black dividing line. But down in here where it starts to part and go separate ways, you can do your quick little light pressure flicks, tiny little fuzz.
Just be thankful I decided not to do Steve Perry right there.
I thought about that when I said that. So funny. I thought he's trying to control himself from singing and breaking into...
I controlled myself, but I still had to say something about it. Like, I had to let you know that I was on top of it.
Now, holding my brush, I'm holding it way down here on the metal ferrule because I want control, but I also want light pressure. So, holding your brush down like the way you would hold a pencil down real close is going to give you that control, but just press really lightly, and then you're not going to overdo it. You can bring some of those fuzzies down here. You can even, like, if you end up crossing over into the bottom lip, that's totally fine. You can still see that, oh yeah, there's a lip there. Now, if you end up where maybe he's got like a Joker smile, you can reduce the outer corners by coming in with some white really close and just leaving the tiniest little black hint of black for the mouth.
I did see that.
Like even here, I could cover up that and over here too. So you're just seeing, you don't see the smile go all the way to the edge.
DC did pick up a sequel to the Joker movie with
I
Joaquin
saw that.
Phoenix.
Ah, interesting. Not surprised. It made a lot of money.
It was such a good movie too. I mean, I know some people probably didn't like it, but I really liked it. That and the new Batman movie I thought were such great interpretations of
Yeah, they were great.
comic book characters.
Okay, so I said I wanted to fix up this area, and what I don't like about it is I feel like everything's super even. It's all the same length and spaced apart equally. So I'm going to use my little brush. Before I was using a little bit bigger brush. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to add just a bit more brush strokes to roughen that up so it's not so evenly done. And I could even bring some of that fuzziness over here. Make him look like he has a little soft muzzle. And one of my favorite parts of painting is highlighting the eyes. I feel like it can really change. It does. It changes it up completely. Right now he's got just kind of vacant eyes. And adding the shine to the eyes is going to completely transform that. So let's have a look at the highlighted eyes. All I did was in the black pupil part, I put kind of a couple slashes with the brush, then a little dot outside here, and then I do just inside the iris part, so not along the black edge, just like in the iris part, do a little swoop of white. Let's do it. We can do it. It's gonna turn out really good. You don't want a ton of paint on your brush, just a little bit, because you can always add more. It's harder to take it away. So right here in the outer part, or the right half of this pupil, just gonna do a few little slashes of the brush. And let's go ahead and match it up over on this side, kind of the outer part, slashes of the brush. Then in the iris part over here, just a little white dot. Same thing over here, little white dot. Already looking really good. You could even, I have got pretty big eyes, so I could even make these highlights a little bigger and stronger if I wanted to. And now for the part that actually makes the eye look glossy and wet, just inside the iris, following along the black, so you're following the curve of that black line, but you're not really right on the black line. It's okay if you end up on the black line. I have plenty of paintings that end up that way. I realize as I'm describing it, I'm making it sound like you shouldn't do that, but it's totally okay. And you can always go back and add, little by little, add more stronger highlights, because that first coat of white sometimes is kind of thin. And look at that. It's such an easy thing, and it completely changes the look. And suddenly, yes, he's staring at you, but he doesn't necessarily look vacant like he did before. So you can go ahead and zoom out. Actually, don't zoom out, Paul. We'll do the whisker dots. Totally optional. You can leave those off. We can do whiskers too. I think I mentioned that we can show that on the instructions. I think I mentioned we'll show that. I actually like the way these turned out a little bit better. I don't know why. I think the other ones, I think I see what it is. I think these came out just a bit too wide. And I really wanted to keep them, they go at an angle and they don't go too far out on the edges. Color-wise, we just want a brown. So you can mix yellow and black. It's probably the easiest way to do it. You can mix yellow, red, and black. If you've got some of your orange left, just throw some black in there. You just want kind of a dark brown color. And you want to use your littlest brush. Add a drop of water to your color. Now I know a lot of times you guys are used to me using the handle of the brush when I do dots. You can do that here. I actually used the bristle end, but I did the pull and twist to knock off excess paint, redip the tip of the bristles. And let's start right up in here. Just do a little row, very light pressure. I'm just going to do 3 rows, I think. freckles. What color are lion's whiskers, Paul? I have a feeling they're white.
I have no idea.
Well, in my painting, I think they're going to be white, but I've got a little spot here I want to touch up with some white. Curb feelers. That's what we always used to call them. Curb feelers. I actually want this to dry just a bit before I come in with white, because I could end up with a streaked brown into white thing, which might be kind of cool. I know some cats have like ombre whiskers where you see they come out of their face one color and turn a different color on the ends. But I'm going to have you zoom out, and while that's drying, Paul, I will do the green color in the mane that I talked about. So yeah, with the eye highlights and everything, it looks a lot better. One of the things I do notice, I was trying to figure out, something looks very different from the original. Oh, thank you, Kim. Good night. Yay, I love it. You have a great weekend too. So one thing I noticed is I had a bit more brown shading on both of these around that center line compared to this one. And you can do that. I'll just do it real quick. Where are we at time-wise? 7:30? Okay, we're good. I just want to take a tiny bit of brown. I added a little white to it. And just shade. Kind of like we did with the blue. Just think of it like you're adding dirt to its face. I think it was a lot more noticeable on mine too, because my new one has a very large forehead. He has a 5 head. So we just needed some other color going on there. Some other shading. I'm just going to sort of let that dissipate down here, just swirling my brush around. There. And now I'll show you how to mix the green. If I can remember back that far. I don't know, I designed this painting several weeks ago. We know the two colors that make green, blue and yellow, and we have the versions of those on here, turquoise and yellow, so let's scrape off some turquoise. Plop it down, add some yellow, about equal parts to start. This makes a very pretty green. And I know on mine, I turned it into more of a kiwi, kind of more celery type green by adding just a bit of white. Add a little at a time, because it's the first bit of white you add can really overpower it. And then you can tweak it as you like. So I could add more turquoise, add more yellow. Just play around with it till you get a green you like. I actually really like this one. And this is only if you want to add some green. You don't have to. I'm a fan of lots of color. Obviously, those of you guys who have been doing my animal paintings for a long time, you'll know that. Let me know too. It's not going to hurt my feelings if you tell me sometime that you're sick of doing animals. And like, I have such thick skin now after teaching my own paintings for 11 years and teaching to kids too, who will tell you everything that they don't like. So yeah, if you're ever sick of painting animals and you want me to paint something different, I try to mix it up, but I do know sometimes I'm like really loving painting animals. And I know based on comments on our Facebook group page, you guys love them too. There, so I totally changed that up a bit by adding green. The cool thing here, if you don't like the green, let it dry, add some pink back on top, or another color that you like. And now...
By the way, I want to point out, this is our 3-year anniversary.
Oh yeah, we talked about that the other day, but then forgot tonight. Cheers to us. We've been doing GoBox for 3 years. Did you give yours an earring?
I did. And check that out.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. We'll show yours in a minute. Okay, let's add whiskers and then we can sign it and be done and show Paul's. So if you're going to do whiskers, they're a little scary. You want to use super light pressure and you want to have watered down paint, but not so watery it's going to drip off your brush. So I'm going to do white. I'm going to dip my little brush in the water right here. Plop down some water. And your water is brownish like mine. No problem. That'll just tone the color down and make it more subtle. We want that. Probably want that if you're starting off and you're a little scared of doing whiskers. So it's watered down. It's not so watery it's going to drip. It's about the consistency of like heavy cream. Pull and twist your brush. Redip the tip of the bristles if needed. And I'm just going to come down here. I do a quick flick before my brain can go, wait, you need to process this. You need to think about it. I don't let my brain do that. I just know I'm going to go downward and outward, and some are going to be longer and some are going to be shorter, and it's the quickest little flick with no pressure. And don't worry about it if it's troublesome for you. You can see the difference between my original, which has no whiskers, and this one. It does not add something that, like, I don't think people are going to look at your painting and go, something's wrong, it's missing whiskers. It doesn't, it's not a game-changing thing. It's not like the highlights in the eyes, which you need. It's just kind of an extra thing. It's going extra. So that is all for our lion, unless you want to add anything else other than your signature. What color do I want to do? You know, I'm going to mix turquoise and white. If you do sign your paintings, you can use a paint marker or even a Sharpie. If you use paint, you want to water it down and use light pressure. I just put my initials in there. I want you to zoom out just a little bit more, Paul, and we'll put yours in here when you're ready. Move these off to the side. Ah, so fun. This one looks a little more masculine than my last one.
I had fun with mine.
You did have fun. Oh my gosh, I love it. Yours kind of looks like, gosh, what's that guy's name who plays Hellboy?
Ron Perlman?
Looks like Ron Perlman.
When he played the Beast?
Yeah, the Beauty and the Beast, the old TV Beauty and the Beast.
So I did put him a little beard or a bead in his goatee, and I did give him an earring.
Those are some intense eyes. And you know what? Partly what makes them look so intense. So if you want a lion that looks intimidating, you would do eyes like that. But what makes yours look very intense compared to these is the pupil's connected to the top of the eye compared to having the colored space underneath. Yours look like maybe he ate some special brownies.
He's a motivational speaker.
Oh my gosh, he's a motivational speaker. He's, what's that guy's name?
Tony Robbins.
He's Tony Robbins.
Banana hands.
Tony Robbins.
What are next month's paintings? I don't know yet.
I am going to do something Halloween themed. I've got it, a photo of it, but I don't have it. It's one I did in the studio years ago. And if you guys have ever seen the one on our website called Halloween Hello, it's like a pumpkin wearing a witch hat. It's kind of that.
It looks like a snowman made out of pumpkins.
Yeah, this doesn't have the whole snowman though. This is mainly the head. So yeah, maybe this week we can rip them out and put them.
Mine will largely depend on whatever colors Jenny picks.
I already picked them. I told you what they were.
Oh, were they? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll probably do a landscape. I'm just going to go out on a limb. I mean, that's kind of my
maybe a spooky
thing.
Landscape. I think you guys like spooky paintings. And
Well, you know,
it's kinda
last
fun
year
to-
I did the mushrooms.
This is kind of spooky. He's a spooky motivational speaker. Oh
He's
my
like,
goodness.
look into my
You're
eyes.
gonna live in a van down by the river.
I'll swallow your soul.
Swallow this. Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
That's
I
pretty
love it.
intense. I didn't realize how intense he was.
It's
but
that. It's just having the color above the pupils that does that.
Yeah. There's something very pirate-like about him.
It could be the earring and the.
It could be the earring and the bead in his goatee.
Oh yeah, haunted house. I could throw a haunted house in mine for sure. And you should do a haunted house. Do it, please.
Should I do the zombie
We'll make
painting?
Paul do
Do you
a
remember the old
haunted
zombie
house.
painting?
No, we don't want to do zombie. Do
No,
the
okay, you're
haunted
right.
house.
That one didn't do good.
Okay.
I'll figure something out. But you know, a haunted house would be really cool.
Yeah, I think you should do a haunted house because you're good at those old craggy buildings. Like think
I
about
don't
like
know.
your Irish ruins.
That's
and,
true.
Yeah.
That's
and
true.
Emerald Isle, you can do it.
I do it in like a neat old cemetery or something like that.
Joanna says yours needs a tattoo. He totally does.
He totally does.
A face tattoo. A teardrop. A little teardrop right there.
Oh, that would be cool. He needs like a heart tattoo on his arm that says, what do they call moms? Lion with lions. I don't remember. It's not like a, I don't know. Anyway, should we zoom back out?
Yeah. Yeah, let's say
zoom back out.
goodbye. Say goodbye till
Here we are.
Thursday. Yeah.
Hey, look, we got a light in the background. It's our Edison.
Yeah, we're slowly building our
We're working on
decor
it.
back there.
Yeah.
But thank you guys so
Yeah.
much for your support. Again, thank you to all our Patreons. If you do want to support us via Patreon, we've got the links down below.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, if you do the projects using your own supplies, we would love a little Patreon or coffee donation there, and it can be as cheap as like $1. Every bit counts.
Ignore me yawning.
But so next week we'll be doing The Lion Sleeps Tonight, and we can, I'm sure, add some extra fun stuff to that as well.
Yeah. Hold on.
What are you doing? Are you adding a teardrop?
I am. Give me a second here.
You have to hold it up in front of your face then. You have a good week too, Joanna. Thank you so much for all you guys who joined in. We really enjoyed this. This one went a little bit longer than usual, but I guess it's because we're doing a face. So he did do a little teardrop there.
Didn't want to do it too big.
That is super funny. All right, Go Box Art Crate. Find us online.
We'll see.
Paint along with us.
Yep.
We'll get some more projects up on there for Halloween, and we'll see you guys next
Oh,
week.
you know what? Before we get going, though, we did do a pretty massive revamp to our website.
Yeah.
So the shopping aspect of it is much
Way better.
more conducive. You can actually filter and like click in. There's a filter section that says holiday favorites, and you can find the Christmas and
Yeah,
and
we're making it
Halloween
easier to
ones
get
and-
to the kits because we have so many now, and rather than endlessly scrolling, we'll make it easier for you to
We're
find
going to be
the type that
putting
you like.
a pretty massive push into expanding all that stuff too.
Joanna
so
says this might be your alter ego.
it could be.
Oh, it looks exactly like
It looks
oh,
just like me.
Actually, it does. It looks just like you.
All right, everybody.
We'll see you later.
We'll
Thank
see you
you
later.
so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. We're going to end our live stream now. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
And end.